Imagine being told to watch humanity fight. Not join them, not help them, just watch. That was the order given to Observer Talvin, a diplomat from the Zarathi Corps. He thought he was about to witness another simple skirmish, a clean military operation. But what he saw instead scarred him forever. Because when humans go to war, they don't roar like beasts or chant like zealots. They move like ghosts. They erase. And for Talvin, the most terrifying part wasn't their brutality. It was their calm. If this story already has you hooked, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because more people need to hear these mind-bending tales of humanity's place among the stars. And hey, drop a comment. Do you think our species is naturally violent or just dangerously efficient when pushed? I'd love to hear your take. Field Report. Observer Talvin of the Zarathi Diplomatic Corps. Classification: restricted. That's how the file begins. But if you read past the opening line, it stops sounding like a dry report and starts to feel more like the diary of a man on the edge of collapse. Talvin had begged for this assignment. He wanted the honor of being one of the first aliens to witness humanity as joint military debut. After all, humans were new to the stars, barely a century into interstellar politics, and the galaxy still wasn't sure what to make of them. They were too open, too friendly. They smiled too easily, shared food too casually, joked as if the galaxy wasn't drowning in cold wars and bloodshed. At first, Talvin found them disarming in the best way. He remembered their training drills, soldiers teaching card tricks between rations, laughing at each other's terrible singing around a campfire. He thought, how charming, how harmless. But then, he noticed something. The Krellians, battle-hardened veterans from wars stretching back millennia, would grow silent whenever human tactics came up in briefing. Not the polite silence of disinterest, but the stillness of fear. That should have been the warning. The mission seemed simple. Retake Mining Station Delta, a facility captured by Ravager forces. Only 12 hostiles confirmed. A straightforward sweep and clear. The humans volunteered to lead the strike. 8 of them against 12. Small numbers, but they insisted. Talvin's job was to observe, not interfere. He took his position above the station's main corridor, recorder active, optics trained, his heart almost light. He expected an impressive show of bravery, maybe even recklessness. He did not expect horror. Captain Sarah Chun led the squad. She briefed her soldiers as casually as someone ordering takeout. Rogers shotgun, Martinez flamer, rifles for the rest. Remember, we want intel. Try to keep one mostly intact. Mostly intact. Talvin didn't understand the weight of those words, yet. Then the assault began. There were no war cries, no banners, no chants of blood or honor. Just steady breathing, boots on metal, eyes forward. Rogers reached the blast door, held up 3 fingers, then 2, then 1. The door didn't open. It vanished. What followed was indescribable. Rogers' shotgun roared, and the first Ravager didn't fall. It unmade. The upper half of its body simply ceased to exist, sprayed across the bulkhead in mist and bone fragments. Talvin gagged. The Galactic Council had banned such weapons centuries ago. Now he understood why. Sound doesn't care where you look. He turned away, but the screams of the Ravagers still filled his ears. Martinez unleashed the flamethrower, and the Predators, those silent hunters feared across systems, screamed as they burned. The stench of scorched flesh rolled up to Talvin's post like a wave, and he doubled over, retching until his ribs ached. Through teary eyes, he saw something that shook him even more. A Ravager cornered by Private Jackson raised its claws, not to strike, but in surrender. For all the galaxy's brutality, surrender was sacred. Jackson didn't hesitate. 2 precise shots, knees shattered, the Ravager crumpled. Jackson shouted cheerfully, "Got one for interrogation, Cap." Cheerfully. The squad moved forward methodically, not like berserkers, but like surgeons dissecting a corpse. Room by room, step by step, dismantling their enemy with cold precision. Talvin watched Captain Chun catch a leaping Ravager mid-air, her blade slicing from groin to skull in one clean motion. She landed smiling, her fatigue soaked in purple blood, and kept walking as if nothing had happened. In the comms hub, 3 Ravagers tried to wipe the data core. Martinez sealed the door. The humans formed a line. Then came what Talvin would later describe as eraser fire. Not combat, not war, erasure. Their synchronized volleys tore the Ravagers apart until nothing recognizable remained. Flesh became pulp, bone became dust, and the walls dripped like the canvas of some mad painter. 7 minutes. That's all it took. When the medics entered, the humans emerged, laughing, joking, bickering. Rogers teased Jackson about who had the cleaner kills. Martinez asked, "What's for dinner?" as if they hadn't just turned a corridor into an abattoir. Then Chun noticed Talvin. He was slumped, trembling, his face pale, eyes raw from tears and smoke. She approached gently, still dripping purple blood, and offered him a protein bar. "You okay, Observer?" she asked. Her tone was soft, almost kind. "First combat viewing's always rough." Talvin stared at her, voice shaking. How can you be so calm?" Chun shrugged, easy as anything. This was simple. No civilians, no allies at risk, just targets, clean sweep. And then, after a pause, she lowered her voice. "You should see what we're like when we're angry." Talvin never forgot those words. Talvin filed his report that same night. But it wasn't the careful, structured debrief expected of a diplomat. It was frantic. Just one line, one desperate plea. "Never assign me to observe humans in combat again." The council approved immediately. They didn't ask for clarification, they didn't need to. The footage was enough. Every second of it screamed a truth no one wanted to face. The battle at Mining Station Delta had lasted only 7 minutes. 7 minutes that altered the way the galaxy saw humanity. The council quickly classified all recordings, restricted viewing, and mandated psychological screenings for anyone who had witnessed human warfare firsthand. Even the most iron-willed observers were shaken, broken, or quietly retired. But the humans? They didn't understand the reaction. To them, it had been easy, clean. They kept saying they'd been holding back, and that, more than the flamethrowers, the shotguns, the erasure crossfire, was what haunted Talvin's dreams. Holding back. He couldn't escape the memory of Chun's voice, calm as starlight. "You should see what we re-like when we re-angry." It was a thought that wrapped around him like a parasite, tightening whenever he closed his eyes. If this surgical slaughter, was humanity restraining themselves, what happened when they let go? What did they become when rage fueled their discipline? The galaxy had no answers, and no one was willing to find out. Talvin requested transfer to deep space survey duty. Somewhere quiet, somewhere far from human fleets, far from war, far from the echoes of screams that weren't supposed to belong to predators. He wanted only the hum of stars, empty and eternal. But the truth lingered. Humans had laughed as they wiped out one of the galaxy's deadliest species in minutes. They had joked about dinner while still dripping in blood. They had treated war not as desperation, not even as sport, but as routine. And Talvin realized something terrifying. It wasn't that humans enjoyed killing. It wasn't even that they were especially cruel. It was that, to them, war was just another problem to solve, another task to complete. And they were very, very good at solving problems. Other species went to war with rage, with fear, with cries to their ancestors. Humans. They went in calm, steady, methodical. Because for them, war was never about glory. It was about winning. And that, Talvin knew, was why the galaxy should be afraid. Because what happens when a species that treats war like a puzzle finally encounters an enemy that truly makes them angry? Talvin didn't want to know, and he prayed the galaxy never would. And that was the story of Observer Talvin, the alien diplomat who couldn't bear to watch humans fight. To him, what was supposed to be an honor became a nightmare that haunted his every thought. But here's the question I'll leave you with. Are humans naturally violent, or are we simply unmatched when survival demands it? Think about it. If this was humanity holding back, then what happens the day they truly unleash their fury? If you enjoyed this tale, hit that like button, subscribe for more HFY sci-fi stories, and share this video with a friend who loves asking, what if humans are the monsters in someone else's story? And don't forget, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the galaxy fears us for the right reasons? Until next time, stay curious and stay human.